Senator Marshall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the great advantages that Kansas agriculture still has is our ability to get our goods to market more efficiently, less expensive than other countries, and hopefully that leads to a lower price for consumers. You know, one of the reasons the Kansas City Rail Depot is the second largest in the country is because it's full of some of those goods. You know, on a recent trip to Mexico, I learned once again why rail is so important, and another reason that our trade with Mexico has grown now to $1 trillion a year business. But I'm concerned. I'm concerned that do we have the infrastructure for the continued expansion of those markets and our interaction with Mexico's rail systems as well? I feel like we've maxed out that system, and we're feeling that back home. We're feeling it back home at our small co-ops and our small elevators where we don't feel like we're being treated like customers. We feel like we're being treated like the last person picked on a team at recess back in grade school. So the stress, the customer service is probably my biggest concern right day with the rail system. And I realize that's the short line we're dealing with, but the short liners blame it on the big boys, right? That they show up with the train car and say on a Sunday at 3 a.m. and tell us we've got whatever it is, 8 hours to fill it. So we're feeling that stress right now. I'll bring my first cast question to Mr. Joins. Again, I emphasize that rail service reliability is going down year to year in these small towns, leading to Kansas farmers deal with uncertainty and jumbled operations. From a worker's perspective, are you hearing anything from your members about rail operations on the ground and why service in the industry is deteriorating?
It's called PSR, Senator. That's why we're in the shape that we're in right now. Over the last few years,
what's PSR? I'm sorry.
Precision scheduled railroading. It's what the railroads call it. So, but what it means to the workers is over the past 6 years, they've reduced the numbers by 30%. So you've got track workers like myself doing more. You've got engineers, longer trains. You've got all the railroad workers are having to do more. You got 70% of the workforce now trying to do 100% of the work that was done then. And so until we can have a robust, I used to have 6 guys on my gang when I was out there. Now there's 2 guys out there on that gang. And so the reliability issues.
When you say your gang, what does your gang do? Be more. I'm really curious.
Well, I worked on a section gang, and so we'd go out and change ties, or we would lay some rail somewhere, or just do repairs on the track. And so when you extend your territory by a third or a half, nearly, it just you don't get that you don't get that scheduled maintenance like you're supposed to. And in the end, whether it's coming from a grain elevator, or if it's coming from a factory, or wherever it's coming from, it all suffers from PSR.
Okay, a follow-up, kind of a similar question. My farmers and ranchers back home are very concerned about the Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern's plans to merge, and certainly we realize that it's been rejected by the STB for now. How do you think this will impact your membership? Sometimes these big mergers don't turn out well for the American worker.
Well, we could go back for the past 3 or 4 mergers. So the UPSP merger, we lost 2,500, 3,000 members. The CSX, Norfolk Southern Conrail merged, we lost 2,500 to 3,000. The last big one that happened was the CPKCS. They said they were going to hire 600, and the exact opposite has happened. And so this merger, those are small potatoes compared to what this merger is. Never been a merger like this before. So in the context of the RRB, all those members that we lose, like you were saying, Mr. Chairman, won't be paying into the system.
How do you think it'll impact customer service, especially that end of that little elevator out in Goodland, Kansas.
Well, when you're the only game in town, you can make the rules.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.